types of plays. It's a great catch. That someone
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Around the NFL. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl breakdown of what was, to me, not a very good Super Bowl. We got a couple of special guests that might be joining us. We have one guy that's going to be joining us from a Patriot Nation, if you will. But make sure, before we get into all that, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Frozen Pirate Podcast. Also, follow us on Instagram and X/Twitter, whatever it's going by. But without further ado, let's bring him to the stage, Mr. Peter, Pats Nation. What's going on, Pete?
Nothing much. Nothing to brag about. What about you?
Same old shit, different day. Same old shit, different days. We got a little bit to talk about on this show. Around the NFL, as people know, this is not like one of those professional shows. Just a couple of guys shooting shit. Our production is not the greatest, but we have Peter right now driving in a car. Masshole shit at its finest. We got a couple of... What?
I'm multitasking, bro.
Multitasking. Nobody can see the face. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about. We got the Super Bowl fallout, man. I expected a little bit more from that Super Bowl. Just to me overall, man, it just wasn't a very good Super Bowl in my opinion. Also, I want to touch into like some topics. Mike Evans appeared on the Loose Cannons podcast. Myles Garrett was a topic of discussion briefly. We'll get into that. We'll get into some other stuff maybe. But let's talk about the Super Bowl. Chiefs and Eagles. To me, when I think of the Super Bowl, I'm not really like too fond of the halftime show. I don't really care about the halftime show. I care more about the actual play on the field. And it was kind of like the complete opposite this year. For me, it was like I was more interested in the halftime show because it was Kendrick Lamar versus, watching the game. Like right out the gate, I thought we were going to have a pretty good game. I really did, Pete. I really thought it was going to be a good game. That was probably one of the worst fucking Super Bowls I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to lie. That was probably outside of like the Rams and Patriots, the second go around. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I actually enjoyed that game because it was very competitive. It was defensive, but this Super Bowl for me, I don't know what it was. Just, I did not enjoy this Super Bowl whatsoever. What's your take?
I agree with you, bro. I think it was too one-sided, and nobody wants to watch, even if it's a low game. It's really, you don't want to watch something that's one-sided like that.
Mr. Peter's breaking out. Gotta love the lovely woods there. But no, I mean, it's for me. Let me just break it down. I like to watch a competitive Super Bowl, and I like defense, but there was just basically no defense from the Chiefs whatsoever. There was just, it was not entertaining to watch. I don't know. I don't even know how to like explain it. It just was not a very good Super Bowl to watch, in my opinion. The Eagles just,
I think the Chiefs did pretty good, bro. The defense, for considering how much they were playing it on the field, because the offense was getting ragdolled, dude. And you got to remember, Mahomes threw that pick six. Like, the momentum was all on the Eagles' side, but the freaking Chiefs offense, dude, was the Debbie Downer that game, man. Like, you can't put all the blame on the Chiefs' defense. Their offense did not show up to play football at all, dude.
Well, I mean, everybody was talking about too going into that game because I even including myself, I wouldn't have mind seeing a three-peat. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if the Chiefs won, if the Eagles won. I think it would have been cool to see a team win 3 years in a row. But we know how like people get. It was the same thing with the Patriots. Remember when the Patriots were winning all those times? I mean, you guys
Yeah,
wanted to see it, but I mean,
of course.
other people that are not fans of the team, they don't want to see it for some reason. I mean, I like witnessing history. I like living through history, man. I mean, watching like Mahomes, like in all reality, no bullshit. I mean, Mahomes, he's a very talented quarterback. He's very good, but for some reason, man, I think he was off this game. It was like in the first quarter. I don't know if you've seen it, but he got hit and he fucking smacked his head, dude, fucking on that field. And he just didn't play right ever since then. He just didn't look right whatsoever. Um, I'm not using that as an excuse, but a lot of these games you and I have talked about, a lot of those games for the Chiefs, they barely like they squeaked by a lot of those games,
Yeah, they
right?
won basically because of him, though, I would say, right? I mean, they barely won, but he came up with a big play or something. I forget how many games it was. I mean, I can't pull it up like Jamie. I'm not a computer tech and I'm driving right now, but I know that
At least you got your seatbelt on. That's the good part.
they won a bunch of games by like a touchdown or less. You know what I mean? They barely squeaked by with the win. So,
Right.
um, I don't know, man. When you don't protect your quarterback and he's got freaking 275-pound linemen freaking beating him up all game. I mean, how many times did he get sacked in that game? You know what I mean? He didn't have
Yeah.
no time to sit in the pocket. And even when he did scramble, they were just all over him, dude. They contained him so well. I mean, I like Mahomes, but I also think he's soft and I don't think he's got that nitty gritty. And I think like once things start going south for him and he doesn't play well, he's not like a Brady-esque where Brady will throw an interception and he'll come back and he'll be fired up and pissed and want to do better. I feel like Mahomes just, he has a bad game or he's getting hurried or he just got sacked.
He
It's
got
all
sacked
downhill from
six
there.
times for 30.
Six
Yeah, he
times,
got
yeah, I
sacked
know. He
6
got beat
times.
up pretty bad in that game, dude.
Do you remember the
Hats off to
Buccaneers?
the Eagles, man. The Eagles played fantastic.
You remember the
And
Buccaneers in the Chiefs Super Bowl?
what's that?
You remember the Buccaneers in the Chiefs Super Bowl?
Yeah, I was plowing actually. I didn't get to watch that. I listened to it on the radio.
They beat the fucking bricks off Patrick Mahomes, and that's why I said when you get pressure on him and he starts to get flustered, man, he looks like a regular quarterback, in my opinion. Fair play to him though. I mean, the guy's like a magician. He'll excuse me, I'm still battling this fucking cough here. Fair play to him. Uh,
Oh,
the dude is a magician. He can still make throws falling down. Like, fair play to him. But I mean, he got sacked 6 times. This was probably one of the worst Super Bowls he's played. This is probably one of the worst performances by a quarterback in a long time. He had 3 touchdowns for 2 interceptions, but still, those were garbage touchdowns at the end. Um, also, 256 yards passing. He was 21 for 32. Like on paper, you would think he had a pretty good game. You go back and look at that game, man. Fucking, it was terrible. A lot of those points, people don't understand. Like the 22 points, that was garbage time points, in my opinion. Those are all garbage time points. Like, where was all that at the beginning of the game? You know, um, and just to see him, like, in the words of the
my bad,
Iron
bro.
Sheik,
Sorry.
in the words of the Iron Sheik, they broke his back, fucked his, you know what, and humbled him.
And made him humble, bro.
Yeah, they humbled him bad. That was probably one of the worst performances I seen by a
At
team.
halftime, let me ask you this: did you think that he was gonna come back and pull a fucking rabbit out of his hat, or did you
No,
think it was over?
no, I think that
Yeah,
front four,
I could tell just by the whole team's demeanor and like his face. He looked like somebody kicked his dog, dude. He looked like he wanted to cry. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, he ain't pulling magic out. He ain't doing it.
yeah.
And I
I
actually
knew
fell asleep after that. Anyways, I was like, this shit's over.
I knew by halftime. Just watching him walk in there, and you've seen Travis Kelce just kind of fucking trying to pick fights with him.
Yeah.
He was flustered, and I knew right from there. I'm like, this game's over. They're not coming back because you can kind of tell when a team's gonna come back. Like you remember, you can forget that 28 comeback by the Patriots. Like I remember watching that with Aubrey, and she was like, "Fuck this game. The game's over. It's halftime. Like this game." I'm like, "It's not over." I'm like, "You have Tom fucking Brady. You have Julian, and like these are the comeback kids. Like there's a chance. No, no way, no way." So she walked away. She's doing her own thing, and I'm watching the game, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys just scored. Yeah, it's not gonna make a difference." And all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, the game's going into overtime. And who was it? Dion Lewis ran it in. Boom, touchdown. You guys won another Super Bowl. That's what
Yeah.
I felt that. Like I had a feeling that that game wasn't over. But with Mahomes and just watching everybody's body posture walking into that locker room, they were defeated. And I knew that game was over just because the Eagles were pressuring with four guys. I don't even think they ran a
That was
blitz.
crazy. That was
They
crazy.
didn't even they didn't even run any blitzes. And they just got there with their front four and they fucking cracked Mahomes. They cracked Mahomes. You know, and honestly, shout out to the Eagles. They got another title. Jalen Hurts, I tip my hat off to him. I showed him a lot of hatred throughout the past couple of seasons. I mean, the Buccaneers still own him. He is yet to beat the Buccaneers. Also, you know, I kind of want to touch on that too a little bit with the halftime show. You know, everybody in the halftime, everybody was kind of talking about this halftime show. A lot of people hated it, and a lot of people loved it. Did you watch the halftime show? Or did you wind up going to sleep?
No, I watched it. It was. I mean, I'm not a huge Kendrick guy. I like J. Cole better. I think he's. I don't know. A
He's what?
better performer, better lyricist, better beat selector. I'm just not a big Kendrick guy. I mean, not that I dislike him. I'm just not a bit. I just never
Who would win in a
really
rap
got it.
battle? Who do you think would win in a rap battle? Kendrick or J. Cole?
I think Kendrick would. I mean, Kendrick. Jeez,
Ooh.
J. Cole would.
All right, let me ask you this, because I had this discussion with Aubrey. Who do you think would win in a rap battle? Game or J. Cole?
J. Cole.
I don't know, man. Game's got some bars, dude.
Yeah, but J. Cole would wipe the floor with him. I think J. Cole would wipe the floor with a lot of people.
I don't know, man.
He literally freaking had that song out against Kendrick and then like apologized to him because he knew he was gonna just like I don't know, man. I can't listen to his songs and get into Kendrick. He's just not an artist for me. Which is doesn't mean he can't be an artist for other people, and people probably think I'm like old or a hater, but I'm just not a Kendrick guy. And me personally, if I was running the Super Bowl, I would have picked somebody else. I don't think he is worth a Super Bowl, but I mean, it is Jay-Z running it, and the
I
last
think
few
they should have had
years
Lil
have
Wayne
just been.
performing. They should have had
Yeah,
Lil
I
Wayne
think Lil
performing.
Wayne, but I also think like to do the Super Bowl, you need to be like an iconic artist, dude, like Michael Jackson, like U2, Aerosmith, something like that, like where all generations, and it doesn't matter like what age you are or what kind of music you listen to, you're gonna know the music at the halftime show. That's just my opinion, but I get it. Jay-Z's running it, and they're trying to like make it a little more urban hip hop theme, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
To me,
I think when you do the halftime shows, I think like let's rewind a little bit here. You know, you had that Super Bowl with the LA Rams, right? And they had all LA. I see. I have a little bit of an issue with that Super Bowl. And it's nothing towards like Eminem and 50 Cent because I get it. The whole those were Dr. Dre's guys. But I feel like if you're gonna do like the hip hop stuff when it comes to a Super Bowl, I think you kind of have to go based off that city that you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, prime example. The Super Bowl was in New Orleans. You got to have Lil Wayne. Um, do that Super Bowl, in my opinion. You do. Because Lil Wayne's a megastar. He is. He is a star at one point in hip hop. The dude was the biggest hip hop artist out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Hands
I
down.
agree with you.
Hands down. And they're in New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? I just think that they kind of dropped the ball there. I think but I understand Kendrick is the hardest hip hop star right now. He's number one on the top 100. I get it. Um, but I think when it comes to Super Bowls and stuff, like certain cities, like the whole LA thing, I think they kind of dropped the ball on that. And going back to the whole Eminem 50 Cent, I don't think they should have been there. I think you should have had strictly LA Compton artists and stuff like that, especially with the theme, like they were going for like that gangbanging theme type of deal and paying like homage to Compton and stuff. Why wasn't Game in that? I get it. Game is kind of like a head case, and I'll go ahead and say it. I'm a fan of Game. I like Game. I mean, his last album, Drillmatic, that's so underrated for an album. Like, just I like Game a lot because he keeps a lot of like with both 37. So we grew up in the 90s era of hip hop, late 80s, early 90s, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tupac's, Biggie, et cetera, et cetera, Ice Cube, NWA, all that stuff, and when I think of LA, like right now, I think of Game, I think of K Dot, I think of those guys. I just don't understand why Game wasn't there. I just think that Game, in all reality, is one of
Game wasn't there because of 50 Cent. But, I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell, right? They don't get
well,
along. He doesn't like him, but I heard, I don't know how true it is, watching some stuff, that they did want him there, but I guess 50 didn't want him there. Like,
no,
Snoop
Jay.
Dogg
I
tried
think
to
that
make
there
it
was a
happen,
beef with
right?
Jay Z. The beef with Jay Z,
Well,
because I
that
don't. I don't
too,
even know
yeah.
why. I don't even know why Jay Z even puts on those halftime shows. I don't know who made him in charge of that. I'm not a fan of Jay Z at all. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying I hate the guy, but because I'm not trying to have black SUVs pull up. You know what I'm saying? And but no, I'm not
I'll
really a
say it,
fan
I
of.
hate Jay-Z.
I'm not a fan of Jay Z. I'm not. I'm sorry. Like, and that's just listen. That's just my opinion. But going back to the Super Bowl and the halftime performances, I really do think that you gotta have like whoever like I said with Lil Wayne, he should have been performing. Same thing with the LA and stuff like that. They should have had um, you know, like Game and like those type of artists. I would have been cool to see Game, Dr. Dre, Snoop. Like I thought that would have been cool. Um, but it's whatever. The halftime show for me, a lot of people are kind of just like, yo, like that shit was crazy. Like fucking, I can't believe they let Drake. See, I can't believe they let Kendrick say that about Drake on the halftime show and stuff like that. I don't know what the deal is. Jamie, the stat guy, is not here, so he can't really pull up all the stuff with the legal stuff too, because he's good at that. Um, I wonder what's gonna happen, what the fallout's gonna be of that. Um, because obviously there was things that was said about a certain individual and a minor, and he was rocking the chain too, the A minor chain. So I mean, um, I don't know, man. I mean, outside of that, I think that was probably the most entertaining thing about the Super Bowl was the halftime show, to be honest with you. And then you got Serena Williams crip walking, because she used to date Drake and all this bullshit.
Do
I'm
you
just
know that
surprised that
her sister was actually killed by a Crip?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, a
it
drive-by
was like
shooting.
yeah, it was like gun violence or whatever, some shit like that. Yeah, during a
Yeah, it was
drive-by
a
shooting.
drive-by, because she's from Compton too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all from Compton. They all grew up in Compton. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I just I
But isn't she married though? That's kind of weird. Like up there
uh,
crip walking, just to show like what, like Drake, like oh yeah, I'm with freaking Kendrick Lamar. Like it's kind of
well, I
weird,
think
but
the
yeah,
reason why
whatever.
she did that was because Drake was saying shit about her on some records and stuff like that. So I mean, it's just kind of out of spite. I don't know why she did it, but I mean, it was all basically for the performance and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Like it was weird watching the halftime show too. Like just kind of watching all like the subliminal messages and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah, I don't
in,
want to go down that rabbit hole. There's so
why
many
not,
people
man? Why not?
online
Why
right
can't we
now.
go down that fucking rabbit hole? Don't
Because
worry.
it's just like
What
Some
are they gonna
people
do?
are
Sue me?
say it's like race. Some people are saying it's just all Drake. Some people are saying this. I'm like, either I'm just wasn't paying attention or I'm old as shit. I don't know, man. I didn't see any of those messages, bro. Like literally over my head. But I had plowed that day too at work. I was tired. I don't know. I was kind of out of it. I was out since like 4 in the morning. So
I don't
I
miss
was
doing
just
that.
tired. I don't know. I wasn't really into the halftime show. It wasn't my thing. Like I said, I'm not a big Kendrick person, so I don't know. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think it was like, oh wow, this dude's a great performer. I don't know. I couldn't understand half the shit he was saying. I
Yeah,
felt
he
like
raps.
well, not only that, like I've been listening to rap my whole life. I'm normally pretty good with that. It's just the audio sounded just like his tone. He raps very like low. Like I don't know. Just
Yeah,
didn't
I
get into
mean,
it.
look, at the end of the day, I like Kendrick Lamar. I do. I like a lot of his music and stuff like that. But again, I think the NFL needs to do a better job with the halftime performances, and I think they need to do. I think, like I said, I think it should have been Lil Wayne, in my opinion. I think you got to give that to Lil Wayne. But hey, whatever. It is what it
Yeah, but
is.
Jay Z don't like Lil Wayne, so that's why. So as long as
Yeah.
Jay Z's doing this shit,
From
you're
what I
not
hear,
gonna
Jay
get what
Z
you
didn't like
want. You're
Aaliyah
gonna get
neither.
what Jay Z wants, basically.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get on that topic. You know what kind of pisses me off? So obviously, but the audience probably doesn't know. So I'm a fan of all types of music. I can go from Corn to Slipknot to Game to Bone Thugs and Harmony to Johnny Cash, Chris, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just curious, while we're on the topic, why the fuck did Beyonce win? What did she won best country album of the year? Am
Nah,
I
she won best album of the year with a country album. She never won it before. From what I seen, I mean, I could be wrong, but she won best album of the year with a country album, and she never even won it when she was a pop artist or whatever you want to call her, R&B. I don't know what she is, pop, but she never won it when before. But she won album of the year. I think she won country song of the year. I don't know. She won a bunch of Grammys for that country album, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, the Grammys is
so
a joke to begin with, and then so is in the music industry. That's why like I stopped listening to a lot of mainstream shit now. And if I do listen to mainstream music, it's mostly country music. And I don't even know about country anymore because of shit like this. So it's like I don't know, dude.
yeah, but I mean, I don't think they I don't think they I don't even think they acknowledged her for the Country Music Awards.
No, she had like Partridge on there. She had like a bunch of freaking huge country stars on that album, dude.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I never heard it. I didn't listen to it. I
Well,
just don't
I only
understand.
knew that because of Cat Country was they were talking about it when it came out, and they were like saying all the artists that wanted. She had like big name country artists on that album, and they all wanted to do it for exposure.
I mean, fair play to him, but I mean,
I
I don't
guess.
take her as a real country artist at all.
No, I don't even
And
take her as a real artist. Period. She can't even freaking write her own music. She's an all right singer. I mean, she don't. I don't know.
hey, you know who was a really
She's
good
all right.
singer? You know who I thought was a really good singer?
Who?
Aaliyah. Meanwhile, back at
Aaliyah?
the Cove.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
yeah.
back at the Cove. Let's get back into some football shit. All right. So now we go into the second half. I mean, what was it? 17 nothing going in. Yeah, I think it was 17 nothing going into the half.
No, I think it
Uh
was 20-0, right? 20
uh
something nothing. Because
no,
he
I
threw
think it
the
was
pick six.
17.
Then, yeah, maybe I don't know.
No, it was 24
It was,
nothing. No, I'm lying to you. It was
yeah,
24 nothing going
yeah.
into the
I knew
half.
it was 20. I thought it was 20 something.
So, and then right out of the gate, man, the Eagles, boom, another 10 points in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, the Eagles put up 6 points. And that's when the Chiefs started to come alive a little bit, but it was a little bit too late. Um, I don't really want to cover this game much more. I mean, at the end of the day, total
Let
yards.
me
I mean,
ask
you
you
can't.
this: do you think Hurts deserved the MVP?
I think he played a very good game. I mean, I can look at his stats. I think he played, in my opinion, and Jamie's going to be shocked that I say this. I think he looked like an MVP. But I will say this: at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, was the MVP this year of the NFL because what he did for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, like I get it, Josh Allen had 12 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback, but Baker Mayfield had better stats than him. And I get it, it goes by wins, but at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley came to Philly and he did really change that offense. And I get it. They have a solid offensive line. And Jamie hit it right on the head with that stat. Any team that has an offensive line that has played together for more than 4 years or 5 years, 9 out of 10 times they win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, he was running behind a very good offensive line, but Saquon had some great runs this year, and he really
He got shut down though in the Super Bowl. He didn't do
yeah, but I
much.
mean, I expected that. I took
Yeah.
the under on his rushing total. I think he only had like 50 something yards rushing in that game. I took the under on and I won that because I knew the Eagles, the Chiefs were going to do everything they possibly could to shut him down because at the end of the day, that was their offense. I knew AJ Brown was going to go off. I knew like Jamar Chase. What's his face? I always forget his name. The other wide receiver there for the Eagles. I knew them two were gonna go off, and I knew AJ Brown was gonna have a big game, and he did. He had a touchdown. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, that Jalen Hurts, I think he deserved the MVP. He played the he had an interception in the beginning of the game. But he played the perfect game as a quarterback. You couldn't ask for much more. He did a great job running the football. 221 passing yards, 17 for 22. He got sacked 2 times. He threw 1 interception. He had 11 carries for 72 yards and 1 touchdown. You know, what more can you ask from a quarterback? They killed him, dude. They killed him, man. I mean, and I'm looking at the stats like Travis Kelce, 4 catches, 39 yards. Xavier
To me,
Worthy.
the defense, that whole defensive line, that front four, those guys should have got the MVP award, man. Because they
Yeah,
did
they
a hell
they
of a job shutting Mahomes down, dude.
oh yeah,
I
I
know,
mean,
obviously, defensive players don't really win MVPs unless they do
I
something
mean,
out of the ordinary, but
once in
that
a blue
defense,
moon.
man, that defense,
Yeah, I mean,
they set the tone for that game.
yeah, I mean, they did good. They did good. And you're right, they did set the tone for the game. But in overall, I expected the Eagles to win. I know I picked the Chiefs. Um, you know, and I just for me, I kind of wanted to see history. I never seen we've never seen a team do that, a three-peat. And you know what, guys like Mahomes, you just never know. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't want to bet against those guys. But I knew right out of the gate, man, when I seen that Eagles defense swarm in the first half, and it reminded me a lot of the Buccaneers and Chiefs game in that Super Bowl. It reminded me a lot, man. Just the Chiefs, like we're done with covering this Super Bowl. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It is what it is. I want to do a little bit of offseason talk and get your perspective on the Patriots too. Um, you know, defense wins championships. It's old school, man. It's running the football and winning the game in the trenches and having a good defense. And that's it. And it, for that, it takes me to the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are in good shape as far as on offense. They have a really good offense. You've seen Bucky Irvin. I showed you some of his highlights from this season. As a Patriots fan, watching the Bucks play out, because I know you weren't too happy when Brady went to the Buccaneers. But watching a guy like Bucky Irvin, what's your input on a guy like Bucky Irvin? What's your take on him?
Oh, from what I seen, I mean that clip was short. I never seen like a full game of his or anything, but the guy's just got great vision, dude. His cuts and freaking seeing the field in the openings was pretty nice to watch. I mean, growing up when I played football, I played a little bit of running back, so I can always appreciate when I see stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I
And
really,
he's not
I
he's
really
not
think the
big.
kid's got potential. I mean, I think it's still too early to see. Unfortunately, running backs, they're sometimes their careers are cut short,
Yeah.
especially when teams take advantage of them and they're underpaid. Their value's not there anymore. Um, but yeah, we'll see. The kid's got a ton of potential from what I've seen, but still early. What? This
Yeah, I
was
mean,
his rookie year.
rookie year. He did all right, man. Stats were pretty damn good. But they have to be careful with Bucky. I don't want them to kill him and overuse him. Because they drafted a dude a while back ago named Cadillac Williams. Cadillac Williams had a fucking fantastic rookie year with the Buccaneers, and then a lot of injuries and stuff like that. I mean, Bucky, he started all 17 games. He had 207 rushes for 1,100 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns for a rookie, and that's splitting carries with a guy like Rashad White. So I'm pretty pumped about that. The offense still looks good, although there's been a lot of talk about Tyreek Hill coming to the Buccaneers, maybe. Um,
Oh, you don't want that cancer.
uh,
That's gonna be
I mean,
another Antonio Brown.
yeah, but the thing is, when Antonio Brown was with the Bucks, man, Antonio Brown was good. Like I'll still say it to this day. If Antonio Brown never did what he did, walking off the field against the Jets and quitting football like that, and I think if he would have just hung in there, um, like dude, they were gonna repeat. I honestly thought the Buccaneers were gonna repeat, because any we can say
Yeah,
what
but
we
you
want to say
didn't
about him.
because he was just a cancer to the team. He's not a team player. He cares about stats. Me, 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 me. That's Tyreek Hill. Like he's a great football player, but he's me, 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 me. Like you can't do that on a football team. I get you're a superstar. You need to be more humbled. That's why I appreciate your wide receiver for your team because the guy's fucking should be one of those me, me, me guys, and he's not. He wants to win football games, and at the end of the day, that's what they all should want. But that's not how everybody is. Obviously, everyone's um, got different personalities, and personalities clash and shit. But I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
Tyreek Hill would be a good fit for that football team. I don't think he's a good fit for many football teams. But I mean, doesn't mean that he won't change. Well, I don't
yeah, I
see that
mean,
happening.
I know he was praising Baker Mayfield for a while. He put Baker Mayfield on his top 5 quarterbacks. This is the way I look at it with the Tyreek Hill situation. If he's willing to take less money to come here, and
Do you think he's
Jason
gonna
Light,
do that though?
that's the thing.
Him take less money? No.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. These are sacrifices you got to make. I mean, Jason Light before Antonio Brown came to the Bucks, he asked Mike Evans, "Hey, Mike and Chris, hey, how do you guys feel about Antonio joining the team?" And they were like, "I'm all for it." They're team players, and that's what you want in a wide receiver. But as far as Tyreek Hill goes, I mean, I don't see that happening. Just because I prefer to have Chris Godwin back. It's unfortunate because Chris Godwin is such a phenomenal kid. He's such a good wide receiver. He was Tom Brady's favorite target when Tom Brady was here with the Bucks, and he was on pace to have one of the best seasons for a wide receiver this year. Unfortunately, he got hurt. But I'd like to see the Buccaneers bring him back. I like the rookie Jalen McMillan. I like what he brings to the table. He really came on towards the end of the season. Um, Again, just it's about reps. You played football, it's about reps. It's about how many reps you get and building chemistry. Speaking of Mike Evans, he did say on the Loose Cannons podcast, shout out to them guys. If you guys haven't, go check them out. They're a fucking riot. They're hilarious. They were talking about Myles Garrett, And anybody who knows, especially Buck fans, people obviously that are not Buck fans that watch the show too, the Buccaneers have a big problem at pass rush. It's no secret, you know. Mike Evans was basically he was brought up on the show, and Mike was like, "Hey, he'd look good in Buccaneers red." And a lot of people kind of just like lost it. They were like, "Oh, we need to get Myles Garrett." I like Myles Garrett, I really do. But here's my thing: to get a guy like Myles Garrett, he's one of the best defensive ends right now in football, but he's going to be 30. Um, and they don't, in my opinion, I don't feel like they need a defensive end. They have Logan Hall, who's a young kid. He had 5 sacks this year. What they need is an edge rusher. That's why I keep pushing for a guy like Max Crosby from the Raiders. He's going to be 26, and you can have him here for a while. I don't know what they're going to have to give up to get a guy like Myles Garrett, because this dude, I don't know if you're familiar with him, Pete, but this dude he is one of the best defensive ends in football. They need an edge rusher in the worst way. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but I'm not trying to really break the bank. And then on top of it, he's going to be 30. I don't know how many more years he's got left. I get it. It's a win now mode because the Super Bowl window is open. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the Buccaneers do. But although I am curious to see how that would work, but I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to get your opinion on some stuff. Let's move on up to the great cold Foxborough, Massachusetts, around the NFL, the 508. So you're a Patriots fan. You've lost touch with the Patriots because, obviously nobody likes the losing culture. What's your take
It's
on
not
this
even
this
that I
hiring?
don't mind. I don't mind the losing culture. I don't want to get embarrassed, dude. Like, it's not even competitive. It's okay. Like the Bruins, like they lose, they do good, but then you know what I mean? It's just I can't keep watching them. Like, it's like watching a soccer game, dude. Like they can't score. They can't even score a fucking touchdown. It's embarrassing, but I mean, within time. I'd
How do you
rather
feel
do that, right? I'd rather not watch than fucking be like, oh, yeah, guys, I'm a Chiefs fan now. You know what I mean? Like some people I know, but.
Yeah, that's so anybody who knows, I've been a diehard Bucks fan since day one. I've been there with the shittiest fucking Buck squads you can possibly think of. Never veered away, but I've always had a little soft spot for the Patriots. When they went to the Super Bowl, obviously I'm from the 508, man. I want to see them win, but I hated the fact that I had to witness that and be a Bucks fan. What's your take right now on them hiring Mike Vrabel? How do you feel about that hire?
I just don't know if they're a little late on the hire. We're going to have to find that out, though. But that was the original guy I wanted here. I don't know
Now,
why
why
they
Mike? But
hired Gerard Mayo.
why Mike Vrabel?
Why? Because
Yeah.
I think he's a player's coach, but also has the experience, you know what I mean, where he's going to be a friend, but also.
Oh, I think we lost him. That's what happens, man. When you live in the woods, no cell service. Yeah, I think we lost him. No cell service. Yo.
No, I just got a phone call, bro. Sorry.
Oh, that's what it is. So what were you saying?
I was saying that I that was the original guy that I wanted them to hire, and I also think that the chemistry will be there with the players, but he also has the experience. Like Gerard Mayo wanted to be everyone's fucking friend. He didn't want to be their coach. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you got to
Yeah, I
put
can
these
see that.
guys in line and fucking be a coach. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, he didn't do a good job doing that. And the guy had no experience at all. Like I just didn't like the hire. I don't know. I just felt like
I thought it was the
it's
wrong
it's a
hire, in my opinion.
bad move. But I don't know, like now, if the whole Vrabel thing is gonna work out, we'll have to find out. But I mean, I think it's gonna be a little better than Gerard Mayo, but he's also gonna need some help in there with a good offensive coordinator, one that can work with Drake May and fucking develop him because the
Do
kid
you like
does
that
have
quarterback?
potential. I'm not sold on him yet, but I do see potential in him. Um, it's just the offense has a lot of holes in it, and I kind of even before with the freaking quarterback before, what the fuck? Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Um, Mac Jones. He
Oh, he was
I
terrible.
wasn't. Yeah, but at the same time, was he terrible or was just the fucking offense? Like they had no line for that kid. Like
Well,
they
he
set him
played.
up. Bill
He was with
literally
the
just threw that
Jaguars. He
kid to
did
the wolves.
fucking cock over there. I mean,
Yeah,
like
the
the Jaguars are
Jaguars
a bad
fucking
team.
suck too, guy. And the
Yeah.
kid by now, he's ruined. He's fucking damaged goods. His confidence is completely out the.
Oh, another phone call. For those of you who paid attention to the show, for me, Mac Jones, I've never been a fan of Mac Jones. I think it's because due to the fact that, in my opinion, I thought that was a good draft pick. You cut out, Peter, so I was just gonna say, I was telling the people I liked Mac Jones for the Patriots. I agree with you. I think the problem was the lack of an offense, and that's when they tried to spend a little bit of money. And I feel like they spent money in the wrong direction. Like instead of like
I
getting,
can't hear anything.
I can hear you. Uh, like I
I can't hear you, brother.
I
I
can
don't
hear
know what's
you.
going on.
I can hear you just fine. Um, but I just, in my opinion, I thought Mac Jones was decent when they drafted him. I was like, all right, that's they're starting to build something here. They're gonna be fine now. Um, and they just, to me, in my opinion, they just didn't have. They didn't put the money in the right in the right area. Like instead of investing on the offensive line, they went out and paid Juju Smith-Schuster and a couple of other guys, and the
What's just
money,
dumb, dude.
yeah, it was just stupid. It like they didn't put the money in the right direction. They didn't draft offensive linemen like they should have. Like look what the Tampa Bay
No,
Buccaneers did
that's
when Tom Brady.
Bill as a GM.
Yeah, that was a
Terrible
problem
GM,
too.
great head coach.
Yeah, that
You
that,
know
that
what
was
I
a
mean?
problem too.
And
I think like when the Buccaneers got Tom Brady, you know who their first draft pick was? Instead of going out there and getting another piece for offense, they went out and they said, you know what, we're gonna wait, we're gonna fucking get Tristan Wirfs, an offensive lineman. And I always say to everybody that when you draft a new quarterback, you have to draft offensive linemen. They're not the sexy pick, but it's the necessary pick because you have to protect your investment. And I feel like Drake May was one more year away with Gerard Mayo from fucking up his career. Because in
yeah.
my
Well,
opinion,
that's the thing with these rookie quarterbacks, dude. They like if you look back at all the great quarterbacks, right?
they all sat.
I don't know the numbers. They all fucking sat, dude. Nobody got thrown into the wolves. Like maybe like Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, but those guys are like the exception of the rule, dude. This
Yeah, it's
like
very rare
you
where you
just
see a
don't
guy
get
get thrown
thrown.
in.
The game is completely different at the college level, dude, than it is at the NFL.
Oh, of
Like
course, you have fucking
it's
linebackers that are fucking 6'5", 6'4", running a 4.4. Like, not to bring up Devin White, but Devin White was 245, and he would run a fucking 4.3 or 4.4. That's fast for a linebacker. A lot of people don't
yeah,
understand. That's fast. Even like look at Vita Vea. He's like what 350, 340. The dude's fast. And you don't see that at the college level, really. Because when these kids enter the NFL, like you look at a guy like Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback for the Commanders. I call them the Redskins. They're still the Redskins to me. They're not the Commanders. Um, He's a little scrawny right now, but that kid can take over a game. I guarantee you, year two, you're gonna see him a little bit bigger. He's gonna bulk up. These guys tend to bulk up in college, man. A lot of these kids, they're not like fully developed yet. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, they're
When they enter
kids.
the NFL, it's a different ball game. You're playing against grown fucking men. It's not. You're not playing against kids anymore. Playing against grown fucking men. But with Drake May, I like Drake May a lot. I thought he was probably one of the best quarterbacks coming out of that draft class. I like him. I like Caleb Williams. I think he's very talented. I think the Bears situation was a little fucked up for him, but I think they're turning the curb there, and I think they're getting that thing turned around. I think if it was me and I had to draft between Drake May, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, obviously, hands down, Jaden Daniels won Rookie of the Year. Nobody really expected that. I always knew he was going to be a good quarterback. I just didn't expect that. Oh, we lost Pete. I just didn't expect that. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I would have taken Drake May. And to all the Patriot fans out there, you guys have a quarterback, and I was kind of nervous with Gerard Mayo going into another year and just ruining this kid's career. And that's not a knock at Gerard Mayo at all. It's not. It's not a knock at Gerard Mayo, but Gerard Mayo is not the guy. I even thought Mike Vrabel for the job was a little, maybe. I thought Liam Cohen was a good fit for him, but obviously I don't think he was going to get that job, and he did what he did. Fair play to him. He got his money. But in my opinion, I think the Patriots are going to have a bright future. Mike Vrabel, now looking back, I think it's a good hire for the New England Patriots. And I think they're going to turn that culture around. I think you're going to see a lot of the old Patriot way and heading into this new direction of Patriots football. And it's going to be fun to watch. Hell, I might even go to a couple of games. And don't worry, Buck fans, I'm not on a Patriots bandwagon. I'm still a diehard Bucks fan at heart. But as for the rest, man, I'm excited to watch that kid develop and grow up. He's going to be a hell of a talent, I think, in my opinion. Same thing with Bucky Irvin. This year's draft class, to me, in my opinion, was probably one of the best draft classes for football. All right. Since we lost Pete, he lives out in the sticks, man. No service. I'm going to try and get him back on the show. It's a pleasure doing the show with him. He's got a lot of good insight. As always, thank you guys for joining us here on Around the NFL. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on X/Twitter. As always, this is Around the NFL every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, peace, love, and happiness. Fireless cannons. Let's go, Bucks. Peace.